You're listening to the Prepper Recon podcast. For questions, comments, and podcast archives, go to prepperrecon.com. I've personally been buying gold and silver from JM Bullion for over 2 years. They offer the best prices over spot that I can find, and I've never had a problem with an order. If you're looking to trade in some of your fiat paper for real money, check out jmbullion.com today. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Katie Armor offers affordable body armor including level 3 trauma plates made of AR-500 steel. They can endure multiple rounds from pistols and rifles up to 7.62 NATO. Order today from katiearmor.com. That's C-A-T-I armor.com. Hey Preppers and Patriots, this is the second half of my interview with Eve Gonzalez of Trading Post in the Woods. Enjoy the show.
People go to me, well, why is homeopathy so important if a disaster happens? And there is something that was put out by the National Center for Homeopathy. And if people want to get some information about different tests, studies, any more information, they can go to the American Institute of Homeopathy or the National Center for Homeopathy. Anyways, the National Center put out that during past great epidemics such as diphtheria, scarlet fever, typhoid, cholera, yellow fever, malaria, etc., homeopathy decreased mortality by 10 to 30 times versus conventional medicine. During the infamous Spanish flu epidemic in 1918 through 1919, it had been estimated that 25 to 50 million people died worldwide. In the United States alone, 550,000 died, approximately 10% of the people afflicted by the flu. Homeopathic physicians documented that more than 62,000 patients treated with homeopathy resulted in a mortality of 0.7%. For people who were sick enough to be hospitalized, conventional medicine had a mortality rate of 30%, while with 27,000 documented hospitalized cases, homeopathy reported a mortality rate of 1.05. And that was in the Journal of American Institute of Homeopathy. So, when these plagues or diseases or whatever happen, you have to have a way to help yourself. And, just reading that, now that somebody documented, shows that homeopathy has been of value. And, it is one thing that you can do now before all your rights are gone to start acquiring, to start learning about, to start learning how to use it. It's simple, it's easy, but you have to learn what you're working with. And there's some good books out on the market that you can still get, though we have to order them from overseas. So it takes us about 4 months to get them when we get those in. And when we put out any of our kits that we do, we try to put as much information and knowledge into those kits so people can learn there. We've been posting videos and different podcasts and articles and stuff on the topic so that people can watch them. But I tell people, I'm like, because of the problems that we have, I don't know how long. I can be told one day that has to come down and we'll have to take it down. So if we ever put a video up there or something, make sure you watch it. If we put up articles, copy, paste it, download it into a jump drive or something so that you have it so it can't, you won't lose it. You'd always be able to have it. But a lot of rights, just 6 months ago, I could do and say so much more than what I'm now being told that I can say and do. In fact, they pulled one of our products off of Amazon and said it had a medical terminology on the label, and that wasn't acceptable. So now we have to change a label. We won't change the product. They didn't say it didn't work. It just was that we used a medical terminology that is now, deemed in the realm of possession by the medical world. And so now we have to go through changing all the labels and everything. So it's just crazy. And, a lot of times when you're looking at homeopathy, very little can go on the bottle. Basically we're told before the manufacturer labels it, they have to fill out all this paperwork for the FDA. Once something is produced, it sits in quarantine, and then they test it. The FDA has to test it and make sure that there's no problem with it, and nothing's going to make somebody sick or anything. And then it gets approved. Okay, so then it can go on the market. But we're told what can and cannot go on that label. And so all the ingredients go on there so that if people have a Materia Medica, which I advise everybody to own, if they have one, then they can look up all the different ingredients that are in that bottle and look at the Materia Medica and see what the Book of Provings shows that it's been used for. And, that's a whole other thing. I was talking with a manufacturer about the Book of Provings and scientific studies that the government is now requiring, and the scientific studies that have been done, they rejected a bunch of them there was no grounds given on why those scientific studies were rejected. They do not acknowledge, I guess, any longer the Materia Medica or the Book of Provings, though every other country does. Around the world, it's looked at, and it's what we go by when we're looking at what do we want to use for whatever ailment, and we go with the Book of Provings, which is the Materia Medica. And when we send out, when somebody orders a homeopathic from us, we send out info, and we go, okay, here's what the Materia Medica says about this product, because we can no longer say, well, I can't tell you anything. I can't say, oh, this will work for that. I cannot use the word cure. I can't use the word heal. I can't use the word it will rectify a situation that you might have. Okay. We can no longer make any claims that homeopathy will do anything. And so all the more reason, if it's worth them spending so much time going after, then people need to look and go, it must really work. There must be something I'm missing here. But people have just bought the lies. They've bought the lies that it was just a placebo. Why would any agency go after a placebo? I mean, when you think about it, why would they spend so much money going after something if it didn't work? Why would the rest of the world acknowledge it as a viable health care, and yet just not in this country? But it will be, to me, it's like our number one preparation plan in the event that something happens, because you know what, disease breaks out, water gets contaminated, food gets contaminated. How are you going to help yourself?
ReadyMade Resources is a trusted name in the prepper community because they've been around for 18 years. They offer great prices on night vision, water filtration, long-term storage food, solar energy components, and provide free technical service. Get ready for an uncertain future at ReadyMadeResources.com.
Get prepared before disaster strikes. PrepperRecon.com offers MOLLE-compatible individual first aid kits for your home, auto, or bug-out bag. These kits have everything you need to address a traumatic injury, including an Israeli battle dressing, quick clot, EMT shears, suture kit, steri-strips, tourniquet, tough strip bandages, and so much more. Kits are available in OD Green, Coyote, Black, and ACU. $99 includes shipping. Go to PrepperRecon.com and click the Store tab at the top of the home page. Order today before it's too late.
60% of Americans are on some type of prescription drug.
Yeah.
So that shows you that our system's not working. Because if it was, all these people on all these drugs there'd be getting to be less and less and less of them, because, they wouldn't need the drug anymore because they should be getting cured. But they're not getting cured. And this is more than half of America that's popping a pill every single day.
Well, and look at
least one.
And I know you and I have looked at, what about the people who are on antidepressants? Oh my goodness, do you know the number of people who take antidepressant drugs?
11% of Americans.
Okay, now imagine something
So that's
happens.
33 million Americans are on an antidepressant.
Isn't that
And
insane?
yeah,
That in itself is craziness. Okay, but what happens when all of a sudden we have 33 million people who cannot get any? Think about what are you going to do? What are they going to do? All of a sudden, they're going to have to go cold turkey. That's why I tell people, you better learn your alternatives now. Our go-to first is homeopathy because it doesn't expire. There is no known contraindications and no known side effects throughout history. There's not been any known. I cannot, I'm not allowed to say it'll cure or make you better or anything. But, it is a beautiful tool to have if disaster happens. I mean, I know how to help the people who, if they're on an antidepressant, I know how to help them if something were to happen. And I learned how to do that because I wanted to make sure all my neighbors that are taking it, I want a way to keep them calm. Okay? I want the game plan. And, and so to me, homeopathy is easy. But then you need to advance that education and go, what about the herbs? What about the oils? What about colloidal silver? What about raw honey? Okay, what about all these different things? And you just keep allowing your education to keep growing. It does not require you going to a medical school. It requires you to find good books, reliable books, attend trainings, do the things just like they do. You've seen the people who come out at the conventions. The ones that you and I attended, they're coming to learn. And it just requires more of that. It's just that now it is much harder for us to teach the truth because of all the limitations being put on us. So now I have to stand before people in a public setting and go, okay, listen, don't use the terminology because if you, like somebody sent me an email and they said, okay, I'm suffering from fibromyalgia and would you recommend that I try doing this and this and this? And I said, well, you used the medical terminology, so now by law I cannot respond to that because that would be a diagnosis and a treatment game plan. And I said, so if you'd like to send me another email just saying that you aches and pains, I can tell you what I would do. Okay, it's crazy, but that's what we have to do now. Okay, here's another example. I like to just a food for thought, a vision. You have, a couple of farmers out, a couple of farmers out at the pastures or their fields, and they got to get the harvest done. And one farmer goes to the other farmer, man, I don't think I'm going to get my field plowed today because I have a really bad headache. And do you have anything that might help that? And the other farmer has to look at it and go, oh, I'm so sorry. You used the word headache. Now I can't tell you what I would use because you used the medical terminology, and now I would be giving you a treatment plan, and I can be thrown in jail for that. Isn't that crazy?
it's absolutely insane. It's just as insane as the purple penguins, and you can't call them boys and girls, and you can use whatever bathroom you want, and all the mainstream media that was pumping Hillary's numbers all the way through the election is legitimate media, and the folks that were talking about all the wickedness and the corruption involved in her camp of all this, being involved with child molesters and the multiple trips that she took down to Jeffrey Epstein's island. None of this is disputed fact, but the folks that talked about that are labeled as fake news, and the people that put out the completely bogus polls that oversampled Democrats to make her poll 5 to 10 points higher than Trump all the way through the campaigns, they're the legitimate source of news, and they're just bullies in the yard, and now we've got Facebook, and they've got some juice, obviously. And so they're going to be the self-appointed fake news czars. And,
Right.
and their fake news verification engine is going to be funded by none other than George Soros and Bill Gates. So I don't know. I think we might be begging the Russians to get involved in the next election. It might be our only shot at getting a fair shake.
Well, and how do we fight it? That's the question. How do we fight it, and are people willing to?
Well, folks need to be getting this information about homeopathics now while they can, and they need to be spreading the news about alternative right media, which is we're the ones that are trying to give you the truth.
Yeah, we are, and we just have to keep on. We have to, and we continue to plead out to people. Please get involved. Please start to learn. Please start to do. Because if we don't, you feel like that lone voice crying out in the wilderness, praying that someone will hear your voice, and take heed, and follow through. And sometimes I look and I go, are we even making an impact? And yet then I'll get a telephone call of how people's lives, like we had a phone call from a woman for 9 years. Her and her daughter had been in an accident, 9 years in pain, no pain relief, everything that was being done, no relief, okay? And they called me, and she was like, you have no idea the difference you've made in our lives. Thank you. She goes, because for the first time in 9 years, now this woman had a medical situation, I can't mention the word, and her daughter, it was an accident, okay, but both of them for 9 years, terrible pain. And for the first time, they were out of pain, and they had a wonderful weekend. And they were so full of joy and praise to God that he had finally, that they had found truth, and that they were led to try it and did. And so that keeps you going. I mean, when I hear of somebody who, we've worked with them for disaster preparedness, and then they, a terrible disaster happened to them, and yet, they contact us and they go, thank you. You know what? Because we survived the storm just fine. We got through. We remembered what you had said, and so we did this and this and this. And you're like, oh, praise God. If for only one person, then it made everything that we did worthwhile, because one life was impacted and made easier when a disaster hit. So. And for you, getting that, you pump out. I've learned stuff from you. I'm like, wow, okay, I didn't even know it. And I love reading your books because there are some things I didn't even know, and I look them up. I don't just read over stuff. So I'll go, is that real? So and I go, and I read all about it, and I'm like, oh, my goodness, that really did happen. Okay, we can't know everything. And so God gives us different gifts, and and we do the best with what it is that we've been given to share the info. And I've loved reading your books to be able to get stuff I had no clue. I just did not know about, and now I do. So, but anyways, so we just have to just keep on fighting and get involved. But for anybody who's listening to this, I'm going to assume you have not let your guard down because you're still listening, okay? And that's a really good thing. At least people's ears haven't been closed. And so if you are one of those people, though, who are just elated and thinking now that you won't have to worry about it because the bad things won't happen anymore, I know Mark, I, and so many other people want to be that voice to say, please don't. Now's not the time. Now's not the time to sit on the sidelines. Now's not the time to go on vacation. Now's not the time to just quit. Now's the time to get really involved, because we have that opportunity to change the things that are bad into something that is good. We have the responsibility to be truly prepared. We have more opportunity now to learn more about alternatives. I tell you what, we were praying. It was like, God, please, because if we were not getting this incoming president, and it would have been Hillary, your alternatives would have really pretty much gone across the ocean, and anybody who wanted them would have had to have gone someplace else other than this country. So we have another opportunity, and praise God for that. So we need to take full advantage of it while we have it.
And you're still offering the Prepper Recon listeners the 25% off on your basic homeopathic remedies kit?
I am. You know what? Well, that kit, I am still going to offer that to y'all, because for anybody who takes the time to listen, I want to help them get prepared and learn. That kit that is on your site right now has my book, Major Disasters Lessons Learned. That is also part of that kit. It is the author's copy that's with there, and so I'm almost out of the author's copy, and once those are all gone, then we will revamp the kit, and we'll put something else with it. But right now, they can still get the author's copy of my book, and have the 25% off. But we will make sure to always do some sort of. That was one thing that after what just happened a couple of weeks ago to us, and now having to change names and having to pull stuff off, and now I can't say all this stuff anymore. We were determined that we were going to make sure that we always offered something to your listeners, and that they would be able to get a discount if they wanted to start the journey and start getting themselves prepared that way. So the kit might change a little bit, or it might be a different kit, or a few different things in the kit, but we'll always have something there at a discount for them.
And tell the folks one more time, where's your website and where do we go to find all your great work?
Okay, it's www.tradingpostinthewoods.com. And when they go to that site, they're going to see right now we have like 5 different videos that were done by I can't do a video and talk about the truth about homeopathy, but I was able to get other people's videos that talk about the truth. So you have like the American Academy of Homeopathy and the National Center for Homeopathy, and just different ones I pulled, and they're anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes, so that they can watch that. And we have a lot of information on our website, and of course on our shop. Whether it's homeopathy or preparedness supplies and stuff. We've sold out of a bunch of stuff, so come the new year, we'll have more of our preparedness stuff back out. But right now our big push is the homeopathy, because of all the rights that people are losing. We figured, if we're going to invest money into something to try to help people, we invested a lot of money into the homeopathic so that we could get it out to the public in the event that they deem it no longer available without a prescription. Well, that's what we're doing right now. Our main focus has really been in the homeopathic, in books for knowledge on that, or different alternatives and stuff. So, that's where you have to make those choices of what you're going to put the money in to put out to people. And we certainly aren't getting wealthy at all trying to help the people. But our goal is we become wealthy when we know that other people know what to do and how to help others. And so that's what our drive is. It's not about the money. It's about helping people help themselves, and then in turn help others, because we grow that way.
Well, thanks so much for helping us out today, and thanks for making time to come on the show today.
Well, thank you so much, and I hope and pray that you and all the efforts that you are doing, that God will just direct your hand and just bless you and your family richly in every aspect of your life as we go through the work that He's called us to do and in 2017. And God bless everybody who's listened to this podcast, and may God bless you and your families as well, too, in 2017.
Are we living in a time of which there is more prophetic writings than of any period in history? Watch through the eyes of Noah Parker and his family As a global empire takes shape, ancient writings are fulfilled, and the last days fall upon the once great United States of America. Buy The Days of Noah, Book 1, Conspiracy, in paperback, Kindle, or audio edition at Amazon.com today.